Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. So I once uploaded this voice note that most of our listeners could not understand. So this is a translation of that voice note that I once uploaded. The translation reads like this. Hello Brother Nashey, I have a confession or a story that happened to me. It was in the year 2019. I was with my friend in her hair salon. Two men walked into the salon and asked if we cut hair. Then we said no. My friend then went out of the salon and called me, and she said she suspected that those guys, they wanted to rob us. The guys left the salon and we also closed the salon and we went home. The following day, my friend said we had to go and consult with a traditional doctor because she felt like she was very unlucky in her life because people always took advantage of her. She said she had gone and found a prophet who was very good at helping people, and he was using a mirror. Since her life was not moving, she then told me that let us go together. Because of the love of things, I then agreed. Then we went to see those two guys who were said to be those traditional healers. When we went to see those two guys, I then found out that those guys, they were from Malawi. The guys made us to enter into a room that was set up almost like one of those movies that you see, like those Nigerian movies. There was an altar. One of the guys started to prophesy, and he was saying, your grandmother has a message that I am supposed to tell you. He was prophesying and he was telling me all of this thing. I was so happy with this prophet when he told me that my grandmother wanted to tell me something. My grandmother had chosen him to become the messenger. I was truly excited because she was late and I wanted to hear what she wanted to say to me. He then said, your grandmother is not happy. Why are you poor like this? She has given you riches, but you are not rich. Why are you not rich? He also said, my grandmother had sent him to make me very rich. He would respond as if they were communicating with my grandmother. He then asked how much I needed to have a better life because she wanted me to become the breadwinner. I said, at least if I can get something like 200,000 rands, then it will be okay. I can have a better life with that kind of money. Then he asked me what I was going to use that money for. He said my grandmother didn't have a problem with giving me all of that money that I desired so much. He then gave me some muti, some powder, some charms that I was going to bath with. He told me that I was supposed to bath with those charms that he had given me. I was also supposed to put 100 rands in the water that I'll be bathing with. And also after bathing, I should let the money that I would have placed in the water whilst I'll be bathing to dry. I went back home and I did what exactly those men had told me to do. I went back the following day and that man, he took a plain paper. Then he took something that was more like a sweet and it was very long. Then those things that he took, it was soft like sweets. Then the whole thing, it was coated with millimil. Then he covered it in the bond paper and gave me a small bag. He placed the paper on the bag and then sent me to buy airtime from Makula shops with that 100 rand. And he told me to hold the change with the left hand. I went and I bought 10 rand airtime, and he said I should put the 10 rand in the bag and not to open that bag. I gave him the airtime and he told me to open the bag. Then I saw that there was 1,500 rands in the bag. I was shocked to see the money. Then he said, this is how you will be operating from now. If you go to Mr. Price and buy, put your change in the bag, then it will multiply. That 250,000 rands, you will make it in one day. He then told me to go and find 1,500 rands to buy groceries. And I went to my friend and told her what had happened. She also said that the guy had done the same thing to her. With her 500 and she came with 4,500. We were so excited and we asked him if this will not require blood sacrifice, and he said no, the money did not require any blood sacrifices or any contracts, for this money was straight from our ancestors. Those men then told us not to worry. Those men just said, just do as I have instructed you. So we rushed to look for that 1,500 rands so that we can get more money. I called him and I told him that I had gotten hold of the money, and he said that I should bring the money to him. He said, bring the money so that I can speak with the money that you have. And once I have spoken with the money, I can give you the instructions and send it to you at night. There was no need anymore for me to go to the shops. He had a lot of clients, so he showed me. He would write the name of the clients and their surnames and how much they needed to make. And he had a counter book full of names and the money that they wanted from their ancestors. Some needed millions, some needed amounts like 10 million rands from their ancestors. He said his thing for taking money was with others who came before me, so I had to wait. But as soon as it came back, he would send it to me. We gave him the money, me 1.5 and my friend 4,500 rands. Okay, we waited. Then he had said that it was one day job. Now I was calling him every day and he had a lot of excuses. I called him and I told him that I wanted my money back. Then he said my money had arrived, so I had to go that night to take the money from him. I was too excited and I could not even believe him. He told me not to tell anyone and I didn't even tell my boyfriend. 7 p.m. I went to him. Upon arrival, he then started showing me pictures of his house in Malawi, but he was staying in a one room. I believed he used something to bewitch us because we couldn't even see that something was not adding up. He had also asked me how much I was going to pay him if I got the 250,000 rands. I then told him that I was going to give him 10,000 rands. He said my money was there and it was in the small bucket. He started pouring muti on me and praying for me, and then he said I should put my hand in the bucket and take money with my hand. I did so and I took a brick of money. Then he said, you see, your money is here, but you can't just take it. So he said, you have to take 10,000 rands, then you will be able to take your money. I told him I was not getting paid all of this money, and he said I should get money to access that 250,000 rands. I asked him if he could give me my 250,000 rands, then I'll give him his 10,000 rands. He then gave me a paper that was plain, but it had black powder. Then he told me to rub the paper. When I rubbed the paper, the powder disappeared and my name was written on that paper. I further said, we have managed to get to the money. It further said, we have managed to get to the money, but we need 5,000 rands from you. It's actually 300,000 rands to show you that we love you. This was like a message from my ancestors. Okay, so I had to go and look for 5,000 rands, and my friend wanted 1,000,000 rands from her ancestors. So a paper was saying that she was supposed to bring 20,000 rands. I went home and I tried borrowing from people, but nobody gave me the money. I even wanted to go and borrow some money from my boss so that I can give this man. I then asked myself, why this man? Why they were making me to pay this money? I called that man and I asked him, why can't he just take the 5,000 rands from that lump sum of money that he had gotten from my ancestors? Then he started shouting at me, saying that you are not serious. If you do not want, I will stop and you will stay poor. I then called my ex-boyfriend from Malawi and I asked him if people from Malawi have the powers to communicate with my ancestors. He laughed very hard. He then said that the muti he have been bathing with you, that is the muti that has been making you to see the money you took in the small bucket as money, but it is only papers. He has bewitched you. The man had bewitched us so that we can see papers as if those papers had become money. That's when I opened my eyes, and he had given us more muti to bath with every day so that we can take good care of the money. I told my friend and she agreed. Then we went to collect our money back. He told us that we were fools and we shouldn't let the money go. We should go to the bank and borrow. My friend, who had been religiously bathing with those charms that those men had given unto us, then those men asked my friend if she also wanted her money back, and she said, no, you showed me money, so I will wait. She was told to go outside. He told me that I was nothing but a fool and he had seen a wife in me. He gave me the money and hit me with the money on my face. My brother, to actually think that we had introduced another man who then went ahead and sold his RDP house, and they told him to bring all the money that he had after he had sold his RDP house. He was going to get somewhere around 10 million rands. I went back home and he started threatening me, telling me that he was the strongest amongst the strong witch doctors and he was going to send me some bad luck. I asked him, why was he threatening me? I told him that I was going to his house with some police officers. I went to his house and I found out that people were gathered all over his house and they were trying to open the door to his room. When they had finally opened the door to his room, they found out that he had left. My friend was also part of the crowd, and the landlord opened the door and we found nothing but a bin that was filled with papers. This was during lockdown, and we wondered where he had came from. That man, my brother, who sold his RDP house so that he can give this man, so that his ancestors can give him 10 million rands, he had a stroke because of this thing, and he was on the wheelchair because of stress. Those men, they scammed a lot of people. The number of people who were scammed is just outrageous. I just say to you that there are a lot of scammers out there. In 2 weeks, he had managed to scam a lot of people. I was the only one who got her money back. I like your channel, and I'll be back with another story. Hey, dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from one of our listeners as a WhatsApp voice note. Then we posted it here. Then most of our listeners could not understand. Then we had to have a translation. So that was the translation of that message. Strange things do happen in this world.